Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Pure Fishing Michigan. It's going to be an interesting day today. It's freezing cold. It's 30 to 32 degrees. Water's got a little stain to it, but it's relatively clear. And I'm going to be swinging flies for winter steelhead today. I am not in Michigan today. I actually went south to try to chase some warmer weather down. It doesn't look like it's happening, so I'm going to fish this freezing cold Lake Erie tributary for some winter run steelhead, and hopefully we get into some. Stay tuned. There we go. What's that? Yeah, that'd be freaking awesome. Yeah, I literally just put it in the truck. I was like, I ain't gonna catch a fish. I know you gave me some luck. I haven't caught a thing all day.
Noon that's on the way. I hate this net.
Yeah, I got here, I'll get it unhooked. No, that's I just got it at Walmart, and it's probably my favorite net. I just wrapped it in tape. Come on, buddy. Could I trouble you for a pick? There we go. Shit.
1, 2, 3. Got it.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Oh yeah. That's a beautiful fish. Yeah, that's a big fish, dude.
A nice one?
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh man. Well, I got a little video of it up there, getting up close to us at least. Yeah. All right, everybody. So we wrapped up fishing for the day, and before I close out this video, I want to go over the rigs I use for fall, winter, and spring steelhead. You know, the way that I fish doesn't really change. It's really just what's at the end and how big a bait I use, okay, depending on the time of year, the water clarity, so on and so forth. So we'll get into that another time. This is essentially going to be how I fish for them. So there's two ways that I'm going to probably fish for them more often than not. And the first most common way I'm going to fish for them is with a center pin. And this is one of my center pin rigs. It's a Rapala R-type. It's a 13-foot rod, and it's very, very moderate action. So what that's going to do is that's going to allow, the rod's really long as it is, it's tapered, it's very moderate, which means it's got a lot of flex to it. And what happens is when you have light leaders, you're fishing pressured fish, especially in the winter. When that fish makes a run and you have a 6 to 8 pound leader, your rod has a lot of flex in it before that line is going to receive that punch from the fish. So you got some more time to let the fish take some line or whatever you need to do to fight it. So again, this is my rig here. Okay, Rapala R-type reel. I don't know if they make these a lot anymore. I think you can get them in like Canada, and maybe there's some other stores that sell them, but this was a great rod. I don't know why they quit making them. The reel has ABAC 5s, which are a higher quality bearing system already. It's a real good balance. So if you can find these Rapala center pin rods, they're great rods for the money. And again, Rapala R-type reel as well. Now, as far as the line I use, I really like to use, actually here, I'll grab it so you guys can see. So these are the two types of float line I like to use, and they're basically just a high buoyancy monofilament line. So this is what my main line is going to be. I'd say 99% of the time. I like blood run line also, but a lot of times that's a little stiffer and it gets twisted up a little bit quicker. This seems to go a lot further for me without any kind of special cleaning or treating, and it, you know, it's pretty manageable line. So that's what I do a majority of the time. And then on my main line, I put anywhere between an 8 gram, I believe that, yeah, that's an 8 gram. And I go all the way up to 15 for really deep water. Salmon fishing doesn't really matter a whole lot. So like I said, you can use bigger floats there. And then right where my main line meets my swivel, I'll typically bulk shot. Now again, I'm fishing slow, deep water, so the water is typically clear in the wintertime more often than not, so I'm using a smaller float, so I don't need as much shot. And then my leader here is going to start, and that's typically going to be 8 to 10 pound fluorocarbon, and I'm just going to stagger shot. Now the reason I like to do one larger, like a 7, and I'll do like a 3/0 or a BB size shot, is because what that does is that gives it kind of an L curve in the water where the current's going to kick that lighter shot out while the heavier shot stays behind. So that way the fish sees your bait before it sees your swivel, your sinkers, your bobber, all that stuff. Okay, so there's just less chance of spooking the fish. Again, I'm not a fish, that's my opinion, but that is how it goes. And then, you know, anywhere between 8 and 12 inches from that, I have a bead and a 6 to 8 size hook. This is a Blood Run Skeena hook. Hopefully that's focused. If not, it is a Blood Run Skeena hook. These hooks are great. They're small, but they don't bend. I don't bend and break them. I've never bent or broken one. A fish has never bent one out. I've bent them and broken them on snags before, but that just, again, that's just one of my favorite hooks. There's a lot of great hooks out there. That's just the one that I like. So again, center pin fishing, very effective, especially in the winter time. Great presentation. And then the other way I like to fish for them is by swinging flies. So swinging flies, so it's a little bit of a different way to fish, but essentially same kind of deal. You're using a long rod, and you're basically throwing roll casting. If you see the way that I'm casting in the video, I'm not doing a traditional, back and forth metronome timing kind of a casting. I'm just pulling my rod to the side to get my anchor point or my fly in front of me, and then letting the line droop behind me and just doing a quick whip of the rod, and that's going to launch the line out to where I want it to go. So this is a Cabela's Vector 11.6 8-weight space switch rod, and I got a Lamson liquid, I believe it's a size 4, which is going to be a 9-10 weight reel. The reason I like to use a little bit of a bigger reel with spey casting is because you're typically going to have your running line, which isn't going to take up a lot of room, but then you're going to have your shooting head, which, depending on whether you're using a Skagit or a Scandi head, which we'll get into in another video. One's longer, one's typically shorter, but it's basically just really thick, heavy line, which is going to be anywhere between 10 and 35 feet, which is going to be this really thick, heavy front end of your fly line. So when you throw that roll cast, you're going to be able to launch all that line out, and then you're casting across the current and basically swinging or swooping your fly through where the fish are. I like to just run typically a 10-foot, anywhere between a 7.5 and 10-foot sink tip, and Rio makes some great ones. Rio makes tips, OPST makes really great tips, Orvis makes great tips, and again, they're just poly leader sink tips, and they're welded at both ends, so they're easy to attach to the end of your fly line for you guys that like to fly fish. And again, Rio makes a great array. I typically will go anywhere between T8 and T14 in different lengths, depending on, again, the current speed and the depth of the runs that you're fishing. So hopefully that helps you guys as to, giving you some perspective on what methods work, at least for me, out on the water. So those are the two I used in the video today. And I'll continue to post, maybe at the ends or the middle of these videos, how-tos. Maybe it'll be knots, maybe it'll be bead selection, fly selection. And then I'll kind of give you guys a quick rundown on some of my favorite flies that I use more than others, just kind of in the last year. Every year I'll try, or I'll see a fly that somebody sells or makes, and I'll come home and I'll tie some. And it's just what's the most effective for me and what I have the most confidence in. I feel like if you tied some feathers and some ice dub to a hook and you flutter it around in front of enough fish, one of them is going to grab it. So these are some flies that I really like. This is obviously going to be a little more for low light conditions, dirty water, high water. Same thing as this. This is actually the one that I caught that coho on in a couple of videos ago. So again, this is a good fly. It's got great movement in the water. It's kind of got like a little egghead bead on the front. These are actually some that another Michigan fly tyer kind of inspired me to do. I saw some kind of like it, and they're very flashy, but they're very effective. This is like a sculpin imitation, and again, another like goby sculpin imitation. So both of these flies swim really well. Actually, all these flies swim really well. And yeah, they do good. Again, just depending on the clarity. I use the natural colored ones on clearer water and the more colorful ones on dirty water, or again, low light conditions. So hopefully that gives you an idea what kind of flies to use out there. All right, everybody, hopefully that was informative and give you some ideas of what I go out on the water with in as far as chasing fall, winter, and spring steelhead. Again, if you guys haven't yet, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and like this video, drop me a comment, and we'll see you on the water next time. Take care and have a happy holiday.